Good evening, everybody. My name is Terry Dillon, the CEO and co-founder of CLUBMAP. Tonight's topic we will be delivering is on how online drives club success. There's no doubt in the last sort of 10 years that we've been involved in community sport and not-for-profits, as technology is finally meeting community. So we'll be giving you some really strong gold nuggets tonight, live examples of how technology can help your club. So at the end of every webinar, we always spend 3 minutes or so on our services, and this has got a little bit of a twist in that we find a grant for clubs who need help. So hopefully you'll enjoy the session. Jono, everyone should know Jono, so we'll be co-presenting tonight, but and I want to, on behalf of the Australian Sports Foundation, Active Queenslanders Industry Alliance, continue to thank them for their support of us. So we'll just move on to the next slide, Jono. So just for those that are first timers, we've been around for some time. This is our 10th year, 3,500 clubs, a lot of sports, governing bodies, leagues, associations. So we continue to support all levels of sport. And trust me, there's many need support, and hopefully we provide that. So the framework for tonight's webinar is broken up into 4 parts. Firstly, what is online presence and who needs it? Part 2, how online presence supports success. And part 3, online tips that support success. And then we'll finish with some grants that are available in your particular state. Hopefully, I think we've got one for each state that we'll probably talk about tonight.
Hi everyone, thanks for checking out the webinar recording. Before we dive into it, just while you're watching, if you think that your club could use some help with your sponsorships, other revenue streams, more volunteers, planning, even a bespoke committee structure like what we discussed in webinar 1 a couple of weeks ago, we'd love to help. Our workshops can have a huge impact on your club and the broader community. We know it's tough for clubs with funds at the moment, and we want to make it as easy as possible for clubs to work with us. We'll help you find and apply for a grant to fund our workshops at no cost to your club. There are a number of local and state grants open now, late Feb, early March 2025. All the links are in the description. Get in touch with the grants team or shoot us a good old email, info@clubmap.com.au. Thanks again. Back to the webinar. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. So part 1 is what is an online presence and who needs it. Every club needs an online presence, much like a lot of the topics we talk about in this series or any of our webinars. Clubs should be run a bit more like a business, and there's not many businesses out there that can survive without an online presence in 2025. Community clubs are no different. Your online presence refers to how your club appears or is perceived online. It refers to your website, social media, online reviews, Google listings, that sort of thing. All the stuff that you've been ticking in the poll just there. Basically, you need to be searchable. Gone are the days where someone picks up a phone and calls a club. So that's a bit of the background to what it is for those that are coming into this without knowing what that is. So off the back of the online presence, obviously there are common challenges like most topics, limited skills, time, resources, people are time poor, the weight of the club falls on a few people. Whether you're a large club or a smaller club, there's always something that needs to be done, and the question often gets raised, is it worth the time or the investment, whether that be monetary or your time invested in it, particularly when there are other priorities. This time of year, winter sports are just kicking off, so it's a pretty busy time of the year. It's a really good time to actually utilize your social media following. And online presence can be something at say this time of year for winter sports that just gets easily forgotten, parked or shelved altogether. That we have worked with some clubs that have go a few months without posting or sharing anything online. Some clubs that have an outdated website, and it doesn't take long for that to happen. And when those sort of things occur, it's unfortunately when your online presence then no longer reflects your club. Like I said, old clubs might have old logos, old photos, no social media content shared for a while. Some clubs we work with don't even have a website at all. It is really just a bit of a gap, and it doesn't take long for that to become really outdated. So part 2, how does the online presence lead to success? So this section, we just wanted to highlight what does success look like? Every year, clubs around the country are sort of realizing ways to enhance their club and have success online. 5 to 6 years ago, a Facebook page and a Facebook page and a website was about it. But now there's a lot more clubs that are exploring other social media platforms, relying on online platforms and social media for revenue streams. And success online can come in many different ways to a club and affect different volunteers differently within that club as well. Participants and members should be able to register and pay online. That may mean success in reaching new players. Your sport department needs exposure to success, announcements, new programs, clinics, come and try days. That would be success for your sport department. And you want your club to be easy to find. Exposure equals engagement, which basically means inbound opportunities for your organisation. A professional, active and engaged club is visible online. You will constantly grow your reach, greater exposure to those new members, new players, new sponsors and families that I mentioned before. Your club is more valuable to potential sponsors as well and partners. Your club will stand out from other clubs or other sports in your area, and it will help to add up to this sustainable club for the future. One of the different parts that we talk about in this webinar series. So keep that in mind. Some tips and some examples of what we would consider the bare minimum at the moment, and then some opportunities that if your club's not exploring some other social media platforms, or for example, if you don't have a CRM or a database in place. Most importantly, we're realizing it's really important to have the right people running your social media in particular. Particularly, even in a small group or a small social media team for larger clubs. Like anything, there are certain skills that are needed to do things well. The good thing is there is plenty of information out there on how to do things well online. There are quite a few questions came through the registrations about some tips and hints, so we'll get to a couple of those a little bit later. But the good news is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There is plenty of information out there, and most people under the age of 25 can run a few social media accounts on behalf of your club. Particularly if you're a club with, say, maybe juniors, seniors, and women, or something like that. A few different arms to your club. You want to have representation and presentation from all of those arms of the club on your social media or your website. So make sure you're getting content from all of those. That's where a small team can really help. So we'll start with websites. You want it to be responsive. So that means it works on phones the same as it does on a MacBook or desktop. So when you flip it around or flip your screen around, it is responsive to that change. You want appropriate information and up-to-date contact info. Any events, news is really important. If you can run a blog or something like that, you want to be able to sell memberships and have your sponsorship offerings on there so you could generate revenue through your website. Same with any event tickets or apparel shop, things like that, where you can generate revenue through your website. That's really important. And as I said before, searchable is really important as well. So you want to make sure that your domain accurately reflects your club. As an example, my club was heathmontjets.com, nice and easily searchable. And then the social media, which is a big beast. Essentially copy what's working for other clubs, leagues, associations, even sports, governing bodies. Just see what works and what doesn't work, what looks good on theirs, and try and replicate that. This is just an example of a football netball league down here in Victoria. They've got regular updates on their Facebook page. They share game results and fixtures for each club. Just really clean, neat, tidy branding. It just looks good. Make sure you're adding hashtags to your posts as well. It is geared towards frequent updates to the community. So ideally sharing something a couple of times a week at least is good for Facebook and good for making sure you're getting engagement and reaching people and growing your audience. Instagram, a little bit different. As I said before, they are connected through Meta Business. You can post to both at the same time. However, Instagram, it's not great for long form content and links and things like that. It's purely photos and videos and stories, of course. Stories are really popular. If you've got short highlight videos, really good for stories. You want to sort of highlight really good quality things on Instagram, videos of your club, quality stories. The other thing you can do with Instagram and Facebook as well is go live. So that's really good for, whether it might be post-event updates or some sort of like an awards ceremony or something like that, a live interview with a coach or a president, something like that after a game. Those sort of things are really popular and get people tuning in live, and people do get notifications when you go live on Facebook or Instagram as well. So that's a really good one to think about as well. One area that clubs are definitely, I'm noticing a lot more clubs getting into is LinkedIn. What you want to be a lot more polished with your posts. It is a professional space for linking professionals within the business space. A lot of clubs are doing it really well with highlighting their sponsors. I mentioned before TikTok and YouTube I'll get to as well, but TikTok, a little bit unfiltered, a little bit more fun, short, sharp videos, less polished than LinkedIn, obviously. Really good for little Q&As, little interviews, trends, what's trending on TikTok. It is a really powerful platform, and some clubs are doing it quite well. You can sort of see what Netball, I think this is Netball Australia. Netball Australia are doing a lot of stuff on TikTok there. This is about trending or just being quote unquote viral, your club. If you've got some short little highlights, things like that, again, it's a really good platform for that sort of thing. And then the last one was YouTube, which again is growing. Just highlighted the AFL's YouTube here. They're quite active on YouTube. They do full highlight videos, trimmed down what YouTube refers to as shorts, reels, TikToks. They're all the same thing, basically, just portrait videos of up to about 30 seconds or so. YouTube is the gold standard for video content. A lot of people have YouTube on their TVs now. I know a lot of leagues and associations are live streaming games on YouTube now, so you can watch it on your TV. It is really good for highlights and game recordings and those sort of things. So if your club doesn't have a YouTube account, it's worth exploring it. Again, a bit of work involved. If you've got someone solely focused on it, though, it can be really powerful, particularly for promo videos about your club. When we're working one-on-one with clubs, we often suggest to explore going down the path of a bit of a promo video to accompany your sponsorship packages, so that you can sort of display what your club's about, what to share and where. So just be considerate of what should go on your public page versus maybe a closed members group or players group or something like that. Celebrating 150 games like this example is a good public post. What's on for dinner on a Thursday night maybe should be kept for a private netball group. We've seen all sorts of things pop up on public pages, canteen rosters, people's private contact information, all those sort of things. Just really got to be considerate of what goes on your public page versus a private Facebook group. So just internal versus external content is really, really important there as well. And then just some best practice on social media. Variety of content, like we said before, don't be all salesy for your club. Yes, you want to get some more participants, some more memberships, some more sponsorships, but you want to celebrate at the same time. Be engaged, respond to messages and comments, like posts, respond to posts, those sort of things. That's really good for what we call organic reach. So people's followers finding their posts is replying to things. You want to tag pages. So if you're mentioning another club, or if you're mentioning another one of your sponsors or something, you want to at their business page or at their club page, which again means that their followers will see your post or may see your post. Like I said before, use publishing tools like Meta Business. You may need to slightly tweak your content depending on which platform you're using. So if you're looking at TikTok, you want short little portrait versions of videos. Don't use horizontal videos on TikTok, that sort of thing. Make sure that your content is appropriate for the platform that you're putting it on, and personable, not just promotional. So be creative about how you are being promotional. Thanks for watching our webinar recording. The full cut is in the resources hub right now, along with a heap of other educational videos, tips, info pages, examples, templates on how to set up and run a successful sponsorship program at your club. There's also videos, info and templates on a range of other topics, from volunteers to committee structure, finances, governance, and some new online fundraisers and revenue streams that you can implement. It's available for everyone at your club, or just $49 for 12 months for one account. Check out hub.clubmap.com.au for more information or to buy online. And as always, we'd love to have a chat about your club and how we can help out. Use the QR code, or all the links are in the description as well. Tuning in live if you can is always better. Means you can hang around for some Q&A and have a chat about the topic with us at the end. clubmap.com.au to save your spot. We'll see you then.